'Tis the season to continue our talks about all the paranormal, all the scary, all the spooky, all the unknown. It is I don't know what day it is, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what day it is. It doesn't matter what time it is. It doesn't matter if we were punctual. It doesn't matter if we were late. What matters now is that in this moment, you made the choice to press play upon this audio clip that some of you might be familiar with, but some of you just might wonder, what the hell is this? Is it good? Is it bad? Well, you're about to find out, and you're probably about to be disappointed. This is Dudes with Brews on a Porch.
Cue it.
Dudes with Brews on a Porch bring you strange brews, stories of the paranormal, the weird, the unusual. Enter if you dare.
All right. Strange Brew Month continues. We have an interesting topic to talk about. I don't know how much research Rob did, but
None. Zero.
Well, I got some good info. So thankfully, one of us is a professional.
I've been researching this my whole life. All right.
Oh, well, then that might be cause of concern. But
Minus names, dates, and actions.
right.
Those don't sit in my brain too well.
So we're starting with the drinks. I had the plan. I had a plan to go to the beer store that I frequent to go get a new beer. I was unable to do that because I had to pick up the little lad from daycare when I normally don't, which is fine. So I couldn't do it. So today I am having a little more of the bourbon elixir. I am drinking Buffalo Trace. Buffalo Trace is a highly sought-after bourbon. Pretty hard to find. Once it hits the shelves, it gets sold really quickly. A lot of people overpay for it. It's only like a $35 bottle of bourbon. But for whatever reason, places will charge you $60, $70 because it's insane. It's stupid. It's sought after. Frankfort, Kentucky is the place, one of the oldest continuously operating distilleries in the United States. So this is made from a low rye mash bill with percentages are undisclosed, but it's believed to be mostly corn, around 70%, a small percentage of rye, 10 to 15%, and malted barley. The blend gives you its characteristics of sweet and slightly spicy. In the profile, it's aged in a barrel for 8 years in charred American oak barrels, which allows the whiskey to develop deep, rich flavors. The aging process occurs at the distillery's century-old warehouse, where the barrels are rotated to ensure even aging. So they're also, it's the climate in Kentucky, hot in the summers, cold in the winters, plays a significant role in the maturing process of this. So seasonal temperatures fluctuate drawings of the whiskey out of the wood and all that kind of stuff. It is rich with hints of caramel, vanilla, dried fruit, and sweet oak. It has a smooth and full-bodied palate, and it has like a little initial sweetness from the corn, flavors of toffee you might get, brown sugar, dark fruit, and then it finishes with a lingering vanilla and caramel and spice note. 90 proof in the bottle, so 45% ABV, which strikes a balance of intensity and drinkability. If you were to pair this with some food, you would want something such as barbecue, some hearty food like grilled meats, or even dark chocolate. You can also mix well, so you can use Buffalo Trace, mix it in a cocktail, an old-fashioned, a Manhattan, or something like that. I am just drinking it regular, plain Jane Buffalo Trace. There was an ice cube in it. It melted. I'm drinking it. I got it as a birthday gift, and I appreciate the person that got it for me because, like I said, it's not easy to find. And it does have all those things. I do taste a little bit of the you get the caramel, you get all that stuff. You get a little bit of a kick to it too. It's good stuff. I like it. Buffalo Trace, baby.
There you go. I bet you I'd hate it.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, that's what I said about beer when I started this podcast so long ago with you. And by started, I mean co-host. But you know what I mean. I didn't start the podcast. You started the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're clear.
So what are you drinking?
Where? Yeah. Speaking of old things, I'm gonna probably butcher the name, but I am drinking Wernesgruner
Okay.
Pils Legend.
Okay.
This goes. It's Wernesgruner Brewing, which was founded in 1436 in Germany, I believe.
Yes.
Let me just get to my notes. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Yeah, it's it's beer. It's 4.9%. It's old.
All right.
That's what I got. I saw this and I said I saw something that was 1850 brewed cents, and then I saw 1436 and I said older is better.
All right. Fair enough.
I did peruse the history. I did notice that they left everything out from about 1913 to 1950 something. Weird that they would do that.
It's hard for me to talk about it because all the details that I see are in German.
That's how good it
is.
That's how authentic it is. You don't just find this beer anywhere. You don't go down to, say, the corner Aldi store and pick this up off a shelf. Although that is exactly what I did.
Hey, whatever works. So
anyway, I just took my drink of it. Do you want to give some more details on this?
I have none. They're in German. I don't read German.
I'm going to say this. This beer is like the Sixth Sense. I'm going to tell you what it tastes like, and you can't complain. It's been around since 1436. If you haven't had it yet,
the beer,
I'm not allowed to spoil it for you.
It wasn't put in the can in 1436. Like, you're not drinking a beer from 1436.
And the DVD wasn't put in the box in 2002, Drew.
Okay.
Does my logic not follow?
No, not really, but that's okay.
It probably doesn't. That's all right. I had a long day at work. I mean, it's obviously a traditional Pils. It's sweet up front. There's no bitterness to this beer.
All right.
Honestly, that sweet beer, like that sweet Pils flavor, sticks around. There's nothing that sticks out to me because this isn't your craft Pils. It's not a craft beer. So it's not going for flair. This is going for a long day in the German factories of 1436 making wood clogged shoes or something. It's trying to take the edge off, and that's what I think it's going to do. But it's this is a good tasting Pils. It's sweet and tastes like a good beer. I don't have the words. They're coming from my brain in German, and I don't speak German, so I can't translate them to you.
All right, that's fair enough. Well, today's topic: mysterious triangle phenomena. You've heard of the Bermuda Triangle, but have you heard of all these other crazy geographic locations in the world that have had unusual, unexplainable disappearances, interactions, even borderline UFOs and alien encounters occur in them? There's a lot of them. We know about the Bermuda Triangle. That's the most popular one. There's a couple I want to focus on. All right.
Okay. Can I guess? Can I guess some of the ones?
Sure.
I want to see how many I remember from my days of old when I used to watch all my docu-series.
Yeah, go ahead.
You got the Dragon's Triangle?
Yep.
You got the Bridgewater Triangle?
No.
The I don't have any more. You don't have the Bridgewater?
I don't think so. I have. So what we're going to talk about is the Dragon's Triangle, the Michigan Triangle, and the Vorses Vortis.
Okay. Yep.
And there's one. And then like the Alaska Triangle. There's a bunch of them. There's a lot of them. So let's talk about them, okay? And they get pretty interesting. So the Devil's Sea, off the coast of Japan, and it's like that of the Bermuda Triangle, in which the notorious for ships disappearing. There's magnetic anomalies that are found, UFO sightings, and what the hubbub around it in the culture is that there's underwater volcanoes that are like impacting it. So back in the day, before people were like, "Oh, this is a volcano," they truly thought dragons were underneath there, sucking them in, which is kind of crazy.
I haven't seen photos that it's not. Just saying.
Dragons?
I haven't seen photos disproving the dragon theory.
Yeah, that's good too. This one you might be familiar with. So the Michigan Triangle, in the middle of Lake Michigan, right here in the Midwest. Again, disappearances of ships and planes, along with strange weather patterns and sightings of mysterious objects. The most famous one was when there was a Northwest Airlines flight 2501 in 1950, gone, untraceable. Nobody could find it. Which is kind of weird. So it had 58 people on it, vanished over Lake Michigan. No wreckage was ever found, despite extensive searches. And then nobody knows. So like this, like I think has like this also has ghost ship sightings, sudden violent storms, and inexplicable weather patterns. Now the weather patterns, that's kind of a Midwest thing, though. You know, we get random ass weather all the time, and it's hard to dictate what even to wear each and every morning. Okay, so I was talking about the violent, random, erratic weather patterns that happen over the Michigan Triangle, and I was saying that in the Midwest, that's really not all that uncommon. Shit gets crazy here all the time as far as how weather patterns go, but that's what violent storms have been attributed to this. A lot of theories on it that there's just because of these violent storms that rogue waves, giant waves, take them, whatever, and it from afar might look like a ghost ship, and it also might impact like compasses and navigation equipment. And the waters are really deep, so it's kind of going to be hard to find anything, especially from earlier times when technology was less advanced and they're looking for this stuff. They're not going to find it. But I've seen Lake Michigan when we were at Trevor's bachelor party. We were right on Lake Michigan, and it's huge, it's massive, and it's pretty cool. And we did watch a storm happen from way across the lake. So where we were, there was no storm, but if you looked, it was actually really cool to watch. There was a pretty crazy storm. I should have been on the lookout for ghost ships, but I was not.
Did you already say where the triangle stretches from and to?
No, it's on Lake Michigan. That's all I know.
But I thought it goes from like, it's not all of Lake Michigan. It's northern Lake Michigan, yeah?
I don't know. Maybe. I just know it's on Lake Michigan. The middle, actually located in the middle
It's
of
in the
Lake
middle.
Michigan. Yes. So its corners are said to stretch between Manitowoc, Wisconsin,
Okay, yep.
Ludington, Michigan, and Benton Harbor, Michigan. So that's where.
So that's the meaty part of the middle of the lake there. But I will say I know one story about this triangle.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I was thinking that this was the Bridgewater Triangle, but the Bridgewater Triangle is in Massachusetts, and it's more that's more paranormal and UFO activity.
Yep.
But there is a story from the Michigan Triangle in which a captain went to his quarters to sleep. The captain's quarters can only be locked from the inside. And upon trying to wake him up, he wasn't answering, and they had to break down the door, and there's nobody in there, and there's like the porthole is closed. I don't even know if if the porthole is big enough to go through. So like there's just an unexplained disappearance on Lake Michigan, which that one is kind of perplexing. You know, whenever you hear of a disappearance of somebody from inside of a locked room, it's always very interesting.
So this area, especially Wisconsin and definitely Michigan, is kind of rich in Native American history. So there's a lot of like Native American lore attached to this, saying that there's like these angry spirits in the water. And then there's also, just these ghost ships seen adrift, which is crazy. We were talking about how long ago, a couple weeks ago, about ghosts and how are they always wearing clothes, but now people see ships. So is it all the energy from people who have died manifesting in the form of a boat, as because that's how people would communicate? Because if you just saw somebody floating in the water, you'd be like, that can't be it. But if you see a ship, something that we can relate to, you know what I mean?
I would love it if that was a phenomenon where you just saw dead crewmates that were like ghosts of crew members, but no ship, so they're just like swabbing nothing.
Yeah,
that'd be awesome.
That would
just
be
hanging out like 10 feet above the water, turning an invisible steering wheel,
saying like, "Yo,
what is that thing?"
or whatever.
Yeah,
their old ship songs.
Well, I know, like, and when it comes to shipwrecks and all that jazz, with the Great Lakes, I don't know about those small ones, your Hurons and your Eries, but Lake Superior especially, I knew a guy that fished Lake Superior, and I talked to him about getting on his boat when I came out here to California, and he was like, this, I was like, maybe, even if I come back here or whatever, and he's like, I wouldn't take a new person out on Superior. Like, I'm more afraid of Lake Superior than I am of the Pacific Ocean, because they're like, the Great Lakes have these violent twists and turns, and they're not as predictable. The oceans have currents and some kind of there is chaos there, but it's predictable chaos, whereas apparently the Great Lakes, things can change on a dime. There's nothing really telling captains what's going on except for their instincts. Maybe I'm 100% wrong. If you're a ship captain and I'm lying, right in.
Yes, yeah, please let us know where we failed you.
Especially if you're the captain that disappeared from the cabin.
That was
if
me.
You're out there listening, and could you just drop us a line? Let us know what's going on. How'd you get out of there?
Who knows? So another one in the United States. So there's a lot across the world, but we're kind of just looking more at in the United States for now. The Alaska Triangle. So this is in a large swath of wilderness, known points: Anchorage, Juneau, and Barrow. So since the 1970s, this Alaskan Triangle has been the site of over 16,000 disappearances. This includes planes, hikers, villages have been reported missing. An entire village just disappeared. 1950, there was a military aircraft. 44 people vanished without a trace. And, there's a lot of small boats. A lot of stuff has been going on. But like Alaska... And, when we're going on the side of like disputing this stuff, Alaska is a huge, giant state. And it also is full of dense wilderness, moose galore. You watch Grizzly Man, that guy got eaten. He never to be seen again. Someone's got the audio of him getting eaten because he was running the camera. He forgot to take the cap off. Timothy Treadwell.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Did Grizzly Man fake his own death?
No, he didn't fake his own death.
I mean, who forgets to take the cap off?
He was setting up.
He was sick of doing the show. He was sick of doing Grizzly Man.
Well, it wasn't even out yet.
His name is Eduardo, and he lives in Central America now.
Wouldn't that be something? He's a weird dude.
No, I didn't know that. I thought Grizzly Man was a long-standing History Channel show that went 10 seasons.
No, Grizzly Man is a documentary. They made like a docu-series called like The Grizzly Diaries or something like that, and
Oh, I'm thinking of Bear Grills, Grizz,
I don't know.
Bear something.
I don't know, but yeah,
The
Timothy.
guy that goes out in there and he's got a handheld camera and he eats bugs and poop.
Oh no, this is Timothy Treadle. He's dead. He got eaten by a bear. 13 seasons in I think it was in Juneau, protecting grizzly bears from poachers, and he even got so close to them. He's like touching them. He's living with them for 13 summers. Every summer he would go and he's a weird dude. Documented it all, and then
Forgot to take the cap off. Heavy quotes. 13 years he's been doing this.
The cameraman never dies, but when you unless you don't take the cap off, then that's when the bears attack. But anyways,
they wanted their 15 minutes, dude.
Yeah, they sure did. But yeah, Alaska is a wild thing. So there's a lot of interference with it.
I feel like a military ship, though. They're not just going to let that one go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. I mean, same thing with the. I mean, we all know the Bermuda Triangle stories of the 6, airplanes that went off and disappeared. Then they sent out a search thing, and that one disappeared, and they sent out like a ship, and that disappeared. Yeah. Like the Bermuda Triangle's got some craziness going on out there, but either way, I feel like anytime the military loses it's got to account for the tax dollars.
Maybe.
And the human life.
The legends behind it. So again, there's a lot of Native Alaskan people. They say evil spirits, shapeshifters, and other supernatural beings haunting the wilderness. And a lot of these people believe that that's what's responsible for these disappearances. Shapeshifters, maybe skinwalkers, perhaps.
Could be skinwalkers.
Native.
I feel like that's that runs deep from central to throughout North America. I mean, obviously we've got the ranch is a big spot, but
yeah.
But yeah, the Alaska is it's land with it's basically the sea on land. I mean, when something goes down there, it disappears there. It's so hard to find. The same way that if a ship sinks in the Caribbean or the Caribbean, however you want to pronounce it, same thing.
Why do you think it's a triangle? Why is it a triangle and not like a square or a rectangle? Why are these all triangles? There's no paranormal squares, are there?
No, I don't think there are. I don't think I've heard of a square.
Anything demonic though is done in like a circle, pentagrams and stuff like that. So what is with these shapes, geometry? What's going on? How come we can't get a nice ghostly rhombus up in this bitch?
Right, yeah.
That's what I would like.
Give me like a Milwaukee Mile shaped oval.
Right. Yeah.
I think, well, I mean, the Bermuda Triangle is obviously the big, well-known one. And even when you look at, say, the Michigan Triangle and even the Alaska Triangle, there's only 3 points. I mean, I don't even know the third point in the Alaska Triangle. We all know, insert the Juneau and Anchorage. Were those the two?
Yeah.
And then Barago or Baraboo or
Barrows.
Yeah. So, I mean, no one knows Barrows. But there's like, it's like, even with the, there's 3 points that make sense in terms of where these things are happening. But yeah, it is interesting that they decided to go with the triangle. I'm sure there's some mythology-based idealism behind it that sells the story better.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to give it I'm not going to say it's not shapeshifters and evil.
Maybe they I mean, we already have Madison Square Garden and Pershing Square and
yeah.
It's like triangles are that was what was left for paranormal activities.
Could be. So the other one is the Vile vortice. So this is 12 different areas that are spread across the globe. So this does include Bermuda Triangle, the Devil's Sea, the North Pole, the South Pole, Easter Island, the Wharton Basin in the Indian Ocean. And all of these are known for kind of similar things. So anomalous events, strange weather, electronic or navigational malfunctions. So there's always something going on with compasses, with technology, and aircrafts, ships gone. These are sites where it's hypothesized that electromagnetic disturbances and other energy anomalies are going on all the time. So it's making, I don't know. This stuff just goes away without trace.
Is this how like they fit into the fact that they're on similar latitude longitude lines, or through lines that go through the planet? Because I know there is a theory that's based on like Da Vinci's hexadedral, whatever the word would be, like if you turn the planet from a sphere into this shape that has multiple points that are aligned. Those are where these weird magnetic lines. Sedona in Arizona is one of these places. They're high energy places that that throughout all of human history, written human history or recorded human history, and even storytelling, these are places that weird things happen, and if you can harness it, it becomes a spiritual place. We in the 21st century, in our modern times, we don't look at these things as some kind of energy to tap into. We look at it as some kind of paranormal thing to question, as opposed to like going like, how can we understand this in a way that's spiritual more than intellectual?
For sure. And you were onto something. So some of the theories, they're called ley lines, energy lines that crisscross.
This goes back to a Da Vinci thing, I'm pretty sure.
So this creates pockets of disturbances where they intersect. So there's like theories on that this is why this is happening. Also speculation about underwater structures, pyramids, ancient civilizations, which might have some influence on the environment. What's the underwater place that everybody talks about or like used to?
Atlantis.
Was that real? Is that real?
I absolutely believe that was real. Not even because I necessarily. Well, first off, they found ancient roads in the Caribbean underwater, deep. Not deep enough underwater, but there's some people that have the theory that some of the translations were wrong in terms of where, and it's not actually in the Caribbean. It would be based on the tectonic plates and the shifting of the continents, that it would actually be on the other side, maybe in the Indian Ocean. But we've found massive structures deep underwater off the coast of Japan, I believe, in the Caribbean, in the Indian Ocean, especially around India. There's like an ancient city that's pretty it looks pretty advanced in terms of the stone cutting and things that they were doing, but it's deep underwater, and the only way that we can account for it being there is that it was built before the ocean levels rose, which is a long time ago. Or my favorite theory, mermaids. But we'll get into that in a different episode.
Do you think people that were living in Atlantis, like one day there was just like a big puddle that but not big enough where people caused concern? Like it was a topic.
They walked around it for a little while. It
was a topic of talk, and then, but it wasn't like a topic of concern. They'd be like, that puddle's been there for a couple weeks now, and it hasn't. Like I don't know. I just walk around it, but.
There's like one guy outside of it, with a soapbox, and he's like, "It was ankle deep yesterday. It's shin deep today."
Yeah.
I'm telling you, the end is coming, and everybody's like, "Oh, that's George is weird."
Yeah.
No, I absolutely, that would be great. It sank from the middle first, and people were like, "Oh, that's kind of nice."
Yeah, and
then kids were playing in it.
I hope that's the way it went.
Yeah.
And then, at what point do they do they leave? Like when it gets chest deep, they're like, all right, we gotta. But where do they go? You know?
Yeah, they turn into mermaids. That's the theory.
Is that the theory?
No. The theory is that some of apes moved into dry land, and other apes that were fishing or whatever, they would go out to chest deep and fish.
Uh-huh.
And so actually, I'm sorry, they didn't go in. Some apes went inland; they stayed apes. Some apes, they went out and they were fishing in water, and that straightened their back up, which then made them like slowly over time turning them into Homo sapiens. And then other apes learned how to swim and they became mermaids. I love that theory. I don't know enough about it, and there's not enough you could ever know. Like if you ever find an expert in the aquatic ape theory, like you got your night planned.
Is that what it's called?
Planned.
The aquatic?
Yeah, the aquatic ape theory.
I can get information on it real quick. Yeah, so
I actually do believe that there is some credibility to the aquatic ape theory. It's not necessarily, it doesn't go into mermaids as much as you would think. It's an actual scientific theory that is trying to determine where the split between ape and man came, and it has to do with being in water and like the straightening of the back and the like. There's more to it, but I don't remember things so well these days. So,
well,
but type it into Google, it's there.
Well,
it's there for everybody.
Some scientific explanations about the vile vortices, or I think that's how you say it. Essentially, like, so the North and South Pole do have unusual magnetic behavior, which can impact all this stuff. So many of these locations, they're kind of in line with that. And then also there's strong ocean currents, which create different conditions and can cause a lot of weird phenomena, which is, it's just interesting like that there's so many of them and that we never really know. And I guess I feel like in 2024 we should have all the answers already. Like we know there's a cure for cancer, but it's just not released. We know that aliens, NASA said there's UFOs are a very real thing. Not necessarily saying it's aliens, but unidentified flying objects are real. So, like, I have a feeling like Bermuda. There's got to be a file at the White House about the Bermuda Triangle and all these places. There's got to be.
Well, I think when to be honest, for me, I wonder almost if there are people that know what this is that's happening. Like I said, Da Vinci talked about these ley lines. He might have been the first guy to lay out his idea of the globe was not spherical. It was like a 20-sided die, and all the points of the die were these quote unquote ley lines. Now there's more than I don't know how many points there are, but they do compute to or they correlate with specific sites that have different types of mineral deposits or quartz rock, things like that. And when you take that stuff and you look into like resonant frequencies and how that affects environments, and actually how resonant frequencies with certain in their vibration patterns can communicate with each other. They don't work with other frequencies, only on these specific ones. It's like it's all energy. Now, whether I don't know enough to know if these are, it's like this quartz tower can talk to this quartz tower that's got water running over it or wind running over it or whatever. But wind, water currents, and mineral and like these large rock formations, they create frequencies and energy. That's what our planet is. It's a spinning rock with water on it that it's all creating energy. So how it correlates from one side of the planet to the other, that's what we don't seem to understand, but it seems like it definitely messes with magnets. It definitely messes with what our technology is in terms of navigation and communication in these specific areas. But how we combat it, I don't think we should, but that's what we try to do. Being the apes that stood up in the water, we want to solve a problem. We see a problem. But we also, being apes, we see patterns where maybe there are none. We create patterns. So that's why the government won't fund the research, and here we are.
There's a lot of information on your aquatic ape theory. There's origins of the story or the theory. Started in 1960 by Sir Alistair Hardy. It was made popular by Elaine Morgan. And here are the key arguments. Hairlessness. Bipedalism. Some type of fat. Voluntary breath control. Streamlined body shape. Nasal structures. And ability to swim and dive.
These are things that apes don't have.
Right. But and then there's a bunch of counter arguments on this. It's a controversial topic, actually.
It really is, yeah.
Speculative hypothesis is what it's called. Isn't all hypothesis a speculation until you prove it?
I mean, a lot of people that are against this theory are the ones that say there's somebody in the clouds that pointed down and said, you are now. That makes less sense to me than an ape walking out in the water, losing its hair and learning how to swim.
Yeah, right. I don't know. But out of all those triangles that we talked about, which one would you like to explore the most? Which one would you feel? Which one do you think would be most interesting? And which one do you think you could survive?
Okay, most interesting would be the Michigan triangle. But that's just because I think that would be... I mean, so I'm assuming that you're saying, like, experience something within that triangle that happens in that triangle.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Not just, like, I'm not just on a ship in Lake Michigan getting seasick and nothing happens.
Right.
Like, I actually get to experience something that's in there. Yeah. But honestly, that one, I don't know if you don't have a hand in whether or not you survive it. I would just love to know what happens to people who disappear and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Could you imagine opening your eyes and you're just like, I'm one of them. I disappeared. Where am I?
Shit.
This place is great.
I would like to, like, yeah, I think the one on Lake Michigan would be cool to see well, one, because they say like a lot of UFO activity, so you just gotta look in the skies, and kind of look for that stuff. I'd like to see a UFO. I think I've seen UFOs, but I'd like to like see one and be like, that's a fucking UFO. And I would like to, I think it'd be cool to see a ghost ship, like to be able to see like just a ghost ship sailing by, and then they're all just having fun.
By paranormal definition, you mean?
Correct.
Okay, because there is a ghost ship that is a legitimate thing, which is just a ship that's floating, abandoned ship.
Oh yeah, I want to see like a paranormal ghost ship,
like one that you could potentially sail through.
Maybe that's what they meant, like ghost ships. Like there's just like abandoned ships, but they're saying like people see it as if it's not really there. I think they're talking more in the sense. Yeah. What one do you think you could survive? The ones we talked about. I think I could survive Alaska. I'm gonna be honest.
I mean, that's the one that comes to mind.
Mostly on land, so
yeah, it's on land. That's our bread and butter right there.
Yeah.
And then it's cold.
We're not aquatic apes. We're land apes.
I'm sure I could befriend grizzlies and at least make it 13 seasons.
Shit, I could do 14. If that guy can do it.
But there's also I think it's called the Dead Triangle, and that's in Central America, where like no signals work there, no cell phones or anything works there, but it's like this desert wasteland. I wouldn't even want to try and survive there, to tell you the truth.
I don't know. I don't know that this was in one of these mysterious triangles, but if it were, I'd like to visit it. There's a point. There was some desert in which I think they were like solar powered speakers or something, just played over and over. Mysteriously popped up and they were put on the internet. Toto's Africa.
Well, that just sounds that sounds great to me.
It would never get old.
I know that there was did you hear about, okay, so like if anybody made it this far, now we're spitballing new strange brews, but do you remember like 3 to 5 to 7 years ago, somewhere in there?
3 to 5 to 7?
I'm really bad with time these days, but when these mysterious like monoliths were showing up.
Yeah.
All over the place.
We talked about it, I think, a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, that's something that's like I want an update on that because there was just somebody doing that. I mean,
Right.
that's something that I mean, if I was a billionaire, dude, I'd be doing that shit all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, a monolith over there! Look at that. No one's been there for a while. Who could have put that there? It'd be the worst Bruce Wayne ever.
It
Like,
wasn't
I
me.
I wouldn't fight crime. I'd just do weird stuff like that.
How okay, so this is completely off topic, but it is strange in its own regard.
It's my favorite topic is off topic.
How far are you from Pasadena?
No, not far.
Oh.
It's like a $20 Uber.
Okay. So I would like you to do some heavy hitting investigation on this, okay? And it's
boots on the ground.
It's new. It's been going on for a while, but it's still happening, okay? So someone is pissing in bottles. The piss bandit. He
I've heard about this actually.
From
a little bit, not much. On the news. It was on the news out here. I heard it on a TV news station.
He's I'm assuming it's a dude because dudes do weird things. He's taunting the locals with urine bottles labeled HIV positive, and he's being now declared California's #1 menace, the piss bandit.
I mean, I'll say this: if it's a guy, 100% a villain. If it's a girl, how do you piss in a bottle that well?
This has happened.
That easy?
This has been happening for 6 years. And he leaves it in soda bottles, juice cartons, gallon jugs full to the brim. No one knows who this person is. They also say he on here.
Sounds like they know who he is then.
There's notes and drawings scrawled on the bottoms, human urine, smiley faces, and sometimes HIV positive. The piss bandit. And I want you to bring this piss bandit to justice. I want you to catch California's #1 menace. And when you are interviewed on the news, you have to be wearing a Dudes with Brews t-shirt.
Yeah, like this one?
Like that one. I think that's really what's going to put us on the map. You would be Rob, the piss bandit nabber.
Yeah. Is that it?
Yeah.
I don't know if we can work on that. We'll workshop that. But
yeah.
I will say the fact that they can't find this guy after 6 years in Pasadena makes me think that you can just rob a bank.
Yeah.
Because there's cameras are supposed to be everywhere.
Right.
You're telling me that this guy's never been like a bottle of piss shows up somewhere with a note on it, nicely set. I'm sure it's not thrown out of a car or something like that.
Sometimes a gallon jug.
Yeah. And you're telling me you got no evidence on this guy? #1 nuisance? Come on, Pasadena, get your shit together.
It's crazy. There, and he puts them sometimes on he'll put them on electrical boxes, 6 of them. 6 of them. So he's that's what he's doing. Puts triangular metal caps on the top of the on them so the pee bottles don't go away. He's just leaving his piss everywhere. The piss bandit.
Well, everybody wants to complain about people pissing on the street, so I'd rather it be in a bottle.
Yeah. It's I guess,
how long until he escalates? That's the question.
Until it turns into the turd bandit, the stinky bandit,
a dookie bandit,
the stinky bandit. It just turns out to be Marv and Harry again.
Yeah, it's Marv and Harry. They're freaking old as shit.
They originally were the wet bandits because every time they robbed the house, they would clog the sinks and run the water. Talk about insult to injury. Those guys are dicks.
They're total dicks. Yeah.
It's one thing to rob a house, but to rob them and then just flood it. That's sinister. That's fucked up.
I can handle losing precious family heirlooms, but water damage?
Right.
Come on, dude.
Mold everywhere.
Weeks. Yeah.
That's a mess. And then there was the sticky bandits in the second movie because he taped his hand and reverse style, then he would put it in change jugs. It's
I
sticky.
don't remember that part of that movie. I'm not gonna lie.
He explained it. Lost in New York.
I know that's. I mean, I'll watch Home Alone over and over again, but that second one I tend to stay away from.
What do you mean? The second one's great.
I'll have to revisit it.
It's good.
I'm not gonna argue with you, but I'll revisit
Well,
it.
this could be a holiday versus, because I think the second one might be better than the first. When it comes to Home Alone, like
All right,
one
then
and two.
Before Christmas, maybe we've got our
Yeah.
homework set out for us. What is your favorite Christmas movie?
It's got to be Home Alone.
Home Alone 1 or 2? Because now it's up for debate, isn't it?
I guess. I don't know how to answer that now.
Yeah. Not the Santa Claus?
With Tim Allen,
Yeah, man. Judge Reinhold.
he's annoyed.
I think
A
he's
wee-
the star of that movie.
A weenie whistle. Right at the end. He's blowing his little weenie whistle. No, I don't know. I have an idea for a Halloween episode. It's gonna be. I have an idea. I just gotta draft it a little bit. If I get time, which would be coming out next week. Next week,
Oh
Thursday.
my God, it's so close. It's crazy. I'll be back in your time zone in 2 weeks.
Yeah, unfortunately, I won't be able to see you though.
I know. I'm not even coming down that way. I'm going straight from A Town
Yeah, I know.
up to UP.
It's a bummer. I wish I could make it happen, but
But it's not a personal trip. This is, I'm looking at this as a work trip to work on the house. So
yeah, you'll be with your brothers though, except for Ryan and your mom.
Yeah.
But
You need to come out here, man. This is where it's happening.
yeah, I'll work on that.
I meant to say at, but I changed it to happening.
I'll see what I can do. The Bucks won their first game,
About damn time.
so it's we're looking at around a 124 to 108. Pretty good. 1-0, undefeated for the season. Hot dog.
There's your strange brew. Yeah.
Philadelphia 76ers defeated.
Oh, that's a good team though to beat. So
No Joel Embiid, no Paul George. So
okay, I take back my statement. I retract.
Yeah, but that's good. Here we are. We're done. I gotta go to bed. I gotta run in the morning. For I
gotta
now
make a pizza. Yeah.
am a brand ambassador and have to run.
I don't understand it.
Yeah, I got some cool free stuff. We'll talk about. You'll see it.
All right. Yeah.
I have to do an unboxing of the stuff.
You gonna put it on your TikTok?
No, Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where the cool people play.
Yeah. So triangles galore. Watch out for them.
Yeah. We didn't even touch the surface. We maybe got through 1 point of the massive triangle that is the triangles of the planet.
I drank Buffalo Trace Bourbon. Delicious, good, a good sipper. Got a little bit left. I'll finish it relatively quickly. I would say if you can get your hands on some, get it. As long as it's like MSRP. Don't overbuy or don't overpay for it. How was your beer?
Wernesgruner?
That's so aggressive. Like I feel like the Germans, like they just, no matter what, they're gonna be associated with aggressive speech.
Yeah, it's always good. Wernesgruner.
Mm-hmm.
It was good. It was very good. I can't believe it stays this good after 600 years?
Yeah. I was thinking it tastes like some of the piss in the Piss Bandits drinks.
Oh shit,
or,
man.
containers.
This probably got shipped from Pasadena.
Could it be?
Yeah, that's a big port. They send everything from Germany through Pasadena before it hits Burbank Aldi's.
It doesn't say HIV positive on it, does it?
No.
Oh, that's good.
IBU negative.
Ooh. Oh. All right. I like what you did there. That's yeah, well, so drink that as well.
Also 4.9%. I don't know if I said that before.
I don't know. Explore the world. Halloween's next week. Bye.
Late.